Hi, everybody. I'm Tanya Baldwin. I'm from Mind, Body, Spirit, Healthy Self. I am a trauma wellness healer and registered nurse, and I also am an intuitive. I do oracle card readings. So each day I go live in various platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, as well as TikTok. And I do a 3-card reading for the collective, and then I do individual card pulls after the 3-card reading. Normally I go live 9 a.m. Eastern, but I have education at 9 a.m. So I'm going to kind of try to straddle that a little bit. So if you want to hear the collective reading, stay tuned. If you want to have your card pulled, just let me know that you want to have a card pulled, and I will put you in the queue in the order that is asked for. But I start off with the collective reading. So today I pulled To the Sea, number 7. So this is about being in flow, right? In the flow of life. So the essential meaning, being in flow, returning to source, recognizing how pieces fit together, a natural pattern of events. The oracle's message. Isn't it wonderful when you feel yourself in the flow of life, when events and conditions seem to engage you in a way that is fluid and effortless? This card reminds you that going with the flow is exactly what you need to do right now. Ride the wave of opportunity formed by perfect conditions. Allow trust and faith to guide you forward as you flow like a river in the sea of life. And if you're watching on TikTok, if you hit the likes, by putting likes on TikTok, that it just spreads the reach out so that it reaches more people. So that would be very helpful for me. So the relationship message. There are points in a relationship when you have to decide to go with the flow rather than dictate the course you share with another. Can you let go of the need to have things your way and allow the relationship itself, your combined goals and desires, to steer the ship? Can you both transcend your personalities and allow the partnership to form its own identity, its own energy? Now is the time to relax and see where this mutual journey leads. So, when we try to control things, it really does mess with, and I know, and, as someone that's experienced trauma, I understand that for those of us that have trauma, the reason why we get into those control aspects, and sometimes they're overt, sometimes they're covert, but when we get into those control aspects, it's because that creates that feeling of safety for us. It's like, if I can control the situation, I can make sure that it's safe and I can protect myself. But sometimes we have to, we have to let go of that control, right? Because when we control and we try to control the relationship and everything that's going on in the relationship, it tends to set us up for failure within that relationship, because most people don't want to be controlled as much as, we think it's from a good space, right? Sometimes we control through the covert ways of saying things like, their friends, they could have better friends. Even that's a control mechanism, right? And we may be coming from it from a good spot. We may see their friends and be like, yeah, they're playing video games all day and they're doing, maybe they're into, drugs or drinking or, doing childish things or whatever. And we're like, you're a great person. I see your potential. I see you could, do, but that's a control mechanism, right? We have to learn to just meet people where they're at and just go with that flow. And if that flows with you, great. If it doesn't, then take the lesson or take whatever experience you can from it and move on. For a prosperity message for this card, everything seems to be working out when you stop scrambling and allow the sea of opportunities to wash over you and wake you up to your most prosperous potential. To get into that flow, you need to address your beliefs about abundance and money. Because if you have an underlying belief that money is the root of all evil, then you're going to self-sabotage. You're going to find different ways to not allow money to come to you because of your belief around what money is, right? If you grew up being told your family is always poor, you guys are always struggling, then you could have an underlying belief system that you are always going to be in that, and you will live up to that. Right? Manifest that into reality. Good morning, Amy. How are you this morning? So yeah, if you're on TikTok, the likes help because that spreads the video out, and I would appreciate that if you could help me with that. I can get it started. I can try to put some likes in there. So The true meaning of your personal currency lies in your skills, your talents and abilities, and most important, your core beliefs. Everything flows from your inner world and is reflected in the outer one. When grateful to serve, you align your prosperity consciousness with a higher consciousness. You can expect miracles. Everything you need will come to you easily, right? So definitely try to find a way to allow things to just flow as opposed to trying to control the direction of the water. Let's see what the other cards are and how they contribute to this reading, because so far it's about being in flow, and I like being in flow. So the other card that I pulled was number 45. Okay. Repairing the veil, forgiveness. So forgiveness, making amends, recognition of our unity. Between all of us is a thin veil appearing to be a space that separates us. We look through this veil and believe ourselves to be distinct from each other. We assume that our thoughts and feelings are our own. We see bodies and objects and the spaces between them, so we engage the world in relationships between a duality of us and them. The veil serves as a mysterious illusion, making it so hard to believe in our inherent connection and unity. We can't always remember that what we do to someone else, we at the same time do to ourselves. Good morning. My TikTok handle is mind.body.spirit.healthy. Just someone was asking on one of the other streams. So we can't always remember that what we do to someone else, we at the same time do to ourselves. When we claw at the veil out of fear, anger, jealousy, or resentment, when we manipulate another, when we misuse our power or allow someone's actions to diminish us, we create a wound felt by many, not just by those of us in the smaller direct relationship. Now is the time to examine where your actions have caused difficulty or harm to someone else, and also where you have been the recipient of harm. Regardless of what side you're on, it's important to take responsibility for healing this rift by bringing love, compassion, deep listening, and a presence to whatever is not in harmony. Do this for you and for your own liberty as you become an unwitting hostage once you take the role of perpetrator or victim, both positions of weakness. Let go of all your resentments, know your part in the dynamic, and make the appropriate amends with the newfound wisdom and understanding. Healing, forgiveness, and mending it is what is broken in your world is sweet, much needed declaration of freedom. So that's a really good message for all of us, right? What we do to others, it has a ripple effect, right? Because I know when I was in my toxic relationship, that affected other people in my life. I didn't think so at the time. At the time, I was leaning on my friends, and I remember some of them. I lost friends along the way too because they couldn't stay present to watch me continually expose myself to the challenges and the dynamics that were in that relationship and some of the toxic stuff. They just couldn't understand why I would, after somebody, had hurt me, why I would still allow them to be a part of my life, or, why I would still champion for them and try really, really, really hard to keep them. That's anxious attachment disorder in a nutshell. It's the whole concept that without the other, I am nothing. I have no value. I'm not lovable. So I had to be in a relationship to have that love, to have, that feeling of worth. So that's a challenge to overcome. But in those moments when, the relationship is imploding and, we're fighting, or I'm feeling like, or I've been broken up with because I had an avoidant partner. So his go-to was, we're done. And then I would be the anxious person going, please don't leave me. Please, please don't leave me. Please stay, and begging, right? Never beg for affection or love. I have a motto now: you're either in or out, but don't stand in the doorway because you stop the flow of what can come to you. So make amends and maybe just allow things to flow. And this might be somebody who's, in that same situation or space that I was in, that this reading is more targeted for, right? Somebody who isn't allowing that natural flow because there's that issues that have been occurring that they need to, resentment or, other issues that they need to let go of. The card that I pulled from the tarot deck, and I love this tarot deck, and I'll show you, is the 10 of Pentacles. And look, it's beautiful. So let's see what this beautiful 10 of Pentacles card is all about. So Light Seer, spiritual and material abundance, community, generosity, wealth and prosperity, building a legacy. In the Shadow Seer, chasing luxury and status, financial loss, negative energy around wealth. Oh, baby, this is the big one. All the love, abundance, and joy that you can muster in your heart, it's coming your way and it's coming fast. It's time to prepare for its inevitable arrival and to commit to your long-term success. This energy is so big, in fact, that you should be prepared to spread some of it around generously. Bring an abundance of positive energy into your life and watch everything shift. Expect the arrival of success, happiness, and an upbeat and loving community as avenues widen and the right connections click into place. Remember that perceptions change. You are one small move away from seeing the bigger picture and from unearthing a legacy of pentacles that is already yours. You deserve this success and love. Taste the pleasure of life and embody a state of consciousness that says, yes, I am worthy of all this success. I am successful and I share my wealth with those I love. So that's a really good message for someone. And I think that, the message is being in that flow state. So in the state of being also receiving while giving, right? We have to share in both of those parties, right? Yes, it's challenging. Some of us were raised that, you have to be giving, you have to be, and a lot, give, 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 give. That's how you show up and show that you're worthy and get in, but we don't get into that state of I'm allowed to receive or I can receive, right? We, yes, you did. Hi, sweetheart. I'm early today. I have it scheduled for 9, but on Saturdays for the next little bit, I've been doing some education in the morning. So because it starts at 9, I started this a little bit early, and I'll be late to education today, but next week I'll probably schedule this just a little bit earlier. But so we have that being in that flow state and allowing things to just come to us and not controlling things, right? That control that can really stagnate the energy that's flowing. And there's that making amends and owning up to whatever part that you've played in things and stepping out of that victim or perpetrator mode, right? Sometimes we are. So I was the perpetrator in numerous, situations within my relationships too. I wasn't always the victim. And then beautiful, beautiful. And then when you get into that, when you make reparations for the stuff that you've done wrong and step out of those victim or those perpetrator modes so that you're into your power again and you allow that flow to just come without control, everything is coming to you, all that success, all that happiness. So amazing, amazing. I think it's a beautiful reading for someone. So now that I've done the collective reading, if anyone wants a card, you have to let me know. And I do see everybody's names here on my on my stream. I don't know if that's all the comments. Sometimes I don't see comments from some of the groups, some or whatever. There's just a little bit of maybe an issue there with StreamYard, but if you want a card pulled for you, just let me know. And if you are watching me again on TikTok, giving me likes would help me spread out my reach to other people. I feel sad that I came on so early because I know a lot of people normally watch me at 9 and they're not going to be expecting this earlier time. But if you'd like a card pulled, just let me know and I will pull a card for you. Yes. All right. So this first card is going to be for Krista. I love that. I love your energy. I love your smile. It's just you have such a wonderful joy that exudes from your person, that it's absolutely magnetic. It's just that enthusiasm or love for life, I guess, that comes out. I'm getting my phone's giving me the message that it's time. I'm almost time for my live. Little does it know. Right. All righty. Whoa, that's the one right in there. And I'll pull one for Amy next. Hello, how are you? If you'd like a card for me pulled on TikTok, just let me know that you would. Okay. Hi, Lisa. This card for Krista is Treasure Island, number 9. Number 9. So you can also look up the number that comes up as a second or as an additional reading. I will pull a card for you as well, Lisa. So I'll pull Krista, then Amy, and then Lisa. I have to say that over. I'll say it over and over again to keep myself going as people ask for cards so I can remember the order that I'm in. I almost should have like a little scratch pad and be like, write them down so I don't lose them, but I think I'll do okay. So Treasure Island, Krista. Essential meanings. The law of attraction brings dreams into fruition, the results of positive thinking made manifest, abundance appearing as if from nowhere, financial gains and the sharing of good fortune. The oracle's message. You've worked hard and acted upon your unwavering belief in abundance, and suddenly, in the midst of it all, you hit the jackpot. You have uncovered the map to buried treasure and tapped the unlimited potential within you. What you must hone now is your ability to recognize when X marks the spot, because some of these golden opportunities may be obvious, but others may not be so readily apparent. Trust your intuition to light your way now as you enter this truly prosperous phase where all the long, hard work navigating your inner life is now paying off externally. In all aspects of your life, at this time, you have good fortune. Don't forget to enjoy it and share it with others, as treasure shared multiplies like magic. Relationship message. Your relationship is a treasure, providing even more than you need, but you may not see that right now. No matter how long you've been together, you and your partner are always discovering hidden gems about yourself and each other. Now is a time of discovery. It's as if everything is in sync and everything is new again. Romance blooms and love is in the air. You can be assured that this partnership will bring you great gifts and valuable lessons. Keep your heart open. The message of this card is to celebrate love and what it teaches you. Prosperity message. At this time, you can be confident that success is yours. Your ideas are all hitting the mark, and you're in a true manifestation period when you will see evidence of the seeds of prosperity you planted in the past. The appearance of this card in a reading indicates that your dreams and aspirations align with concrete signs of prosperity in the world of form. This is a very auspicious and fortunate time for business. Creative projects will flourish and inspiration strikes. Share your wealth with others too. Generosity and gratitude should lead you now. I think that's a pretty fantastic message for you, Krista. I think that's just absolutely beautiful. So the next card that I'm going to pull is for Amy. If anyone else wants a card pulled, just put your name down and let me know. Or, if your username has a name, then that's perfect. But if you have one of those usernames that doesn't come up, right? And I feel it for you. I don't know what it is. I really feel that card for you. And I do. I feel like you're just radiating such a wonderful energy. I just feel like everything good is definitely coming to you. It's amazing. So Amy, let's see. I'm channeling some Amy energy here. Have to keep my eye on you, on this Amy. I have other Amy's in my life, but we want to channel this Amy. All righty. This one here's. This is a good one, Amy. So the card is Come to the Edge, number 36, which again, another 9. So we're pulling up 9s today. So if anyone wants a card pulled, you just have to put your name down and say that you want a card pulled, and I will put you in order of everyone. Got to keep you in order. Got to keep you separated. Number 36. Okay. Come to the Edge. You have a beautiful day too, love. Absolutely beautiful. So for Amy, come to the edge, the essential meanings: courage, taking a leap of faith, overcoming fear, and accepting risk. The Oracle's message. I'll pull a card for you, Jody, for sure. So the Oracle's message: facing the unknown is the only choice you really have right now if you want to progress. It's okay to be afraid. Now is the time to take a risk that is not calculated, to feel the exhilaration as you ready yourself for a leap of faith, Faith. Spirit is present, so let go of fear. You are called to express your true self. Listen to your heart and soul, not your head. Come to the edge and discover that you can fly. You must step into the unfamiliar so that you may find your miracles. In a relationship message, it's scary to be truly intimate with someone, to allow him or her to see all of you, especially the parts that you've kept hidden and protected. Now is the time to take that risk and let yourself be seen, truly seen. It's important that you speak up, voice what you need, state who you are, say what you hope for. This is not the time to play it safe, but to take a leap of faith. You will be glad you did. If you're seeking a relationship, the same applies. Take one step toward the gods and they will deliver what you truly desire. There's a statement that says, as you take one step towards the gods, they take 10 steps towards you. They've probably only taken one step, but their steps just bigger. Their steps are just bigger. The prosperity message, Amy. If ever there was a time for you to take a leap of faith into the unknown, it is now. This is the perfect moment to take a big risk. The unknown is the only choice now, and if you come to the edge, you will discover the treasure beyond your wildest dreams. Allow your courage to lead you in spite of your fears. You don't need to know the exact form of what you're going for. The essence is much more powerful, and Spirit has a way of delivering an even better version of prosperity than you could imagine. Take that step. The results will be amazing. So as you can see, like when you're looking at the card too, she's floating off the edge, like she's dancing. There's no fear in this at all. It's just, there's, lots of like petals that look shapes of hearts. And she's just dancing with that just beautiful grace as she just leaps off the edge, right? Just steps off the edge with no fear. So I hope that gives you a really good message, Amy. And now we're going to do Lisa and then Jody. Okay. Lisa and then Jody. And if anyone else wants their card pulled, just let me know in the comments and I'll pull a card for you. Okay. Right. Yay. I love dancing and singing. That's where I get my joy from, like literally my joy. I find, so the way that I work with my trauma. So those that, don't know my story, I was exposed to trauma while my mom was pregnant because she was an abused woman. And I was born 3 months early when my mom was hit in the stomach with a baseball bat and fell down a flight of stairs. And so I didn't really get a lot of skin on skin contact because at that point in time, back in the 70s, it would have been in an incubator, same as now, but they do try to give a little more skin on skin contact or more interactions with moms nowadays. Like they've obviously advanced things. And then the earliest that I was physically abused was 6 months, and I was sexually assaulted before I was 2. I've been homeless. I was kidnapped and held captive for a while when I was 15. I've moved over 60 times in my life. I did think I said I was homeless. I've experienced every kind of abuse and neglect imaginable, really. And it all came crashing down when my health got really bad. And I realized that I hadn't resolved my trauma. I was just avoiding it by working all the time, by having, a really great career. But I was still struggling. So the card that I pulled for you, and I now, it took a lot what the biggest part is teaching your nervous system how to soothe. And because I didn't get taught that as a small child, and a lot of people with childhood trauma don't get taught soothing mechanisms, right? We don't know how to soothe ourselves when we're distressed. And that's why instead of responding, we react, because we get triggered into our trauma response of fight, flight, freeze, disassociate, fawn, like all of those different patterns that we go into. So when you have to learn how to soothe your nervous system, no matter what's coming at it, there's a reframing of the experiences that you had as a child, which you go through, or which I lead people through. No, it's not. This is completely live. completely live, Brian. If you want a card, just let me know. I turn it up right just to show the actual card. So Lisa, I pulled co-create for you, which is number 40. But I pulled it in protection mode. So the way that I read this one is I will read the essential meaning, and then I'll read the oracle message, and then I tell you what the protection message is. And if you want a card, Brian, you can more than certainly. Zodiac Destiny, perfect. So it'll be Lisa, Jody, and then Zodiac Destiny. And if anyone wants a card on Facebook, just or on YouTube or any of the other channels that I'm on, just let me know. Okay, but I'll do yours. And I do oracle readings as well, like a full card reading of a 5-card spread. And I do that. It's $45 Canadian. So if you're interested in that, let me know. And I also, as a trauma wellness coach, I have a whole coaching package that I do to help people navigate through their trauma and recover their mental health, build resiliency, and really learn to get yourself to a point of a life that's lived in flow, where you love yourself and you're authentic. So number 40 for Lisa, co-create. I will pull a card for you in a moment. So essential meanings: creativity, art, inspiration, fruition, manifestation. And if you give likes on TikTok, that expands the reach, or like it gets me broadcast out there more so that more people will see it. So the oracle's message: you may not consider yourself a creative person, but in fact, you are creating your reality every moment of every day via your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, intentions, and actions. Yet you must consider that you do so in partnership with spirit, consciousness, God, or whatever name you call your higher power. You are a spark of this intelligence that works through you, nudging you with inspired thought and intuitive guidance. You are a paintbrush that co-creates a beautiful, a unique expression of your own individuality blended with the universal spirit. You are a product of divine inspiration, and now you're aligned with it to create miracles. When you view your life as art and know you co-create it, only beauty and grace result. Prepare to be amazed. So the protection message for this card, Lisa, is you are trying too hard to create all that you desire without the nurturing vital force of spirit. Perhaps you are in a creative slump, suffering writer's block, or facing a monumental task, but unable to decide on your first step. So you just avoid doing anything. So kind of like a procrastination situation, right? Does the word overwhelmed apply to you right now? Why do you think it has all come down to you? Inspiration means drawing in of divine guidance. You must tap into spirit, not simply yourself. Ask spirit for inspiration. 2 minds are greater than one. So co-create with your divine partner. Hi. Thank you, Scotty. Have a wonderful day to you too. I'm going to do the little Reclaim your partnership with spirit. Inspiration will flow through you as soon as you get out of your own way. So I'm not sure how that resonates with you. Like, do you feel like you're in that, like you're kind of a little bit stuck, and yeah, you have ideas, or you have, a space, like you have a destiny maybe that you're thinking about getting to, you have an idea of where you want to go, but you're stuck in that, like feeling overwhelmed. Maybe it's looking at too many pieces of the pie. I do that all the time. Like I'm somebody that just loves education. And I pick up education everywhere I look. So right now I'm doing an oracle class. I'm doing a moonologer class. I'm doing a chakra, mudra, mantra, yoga, like all of that information from a Sharma. So I have classes with that. And I also have, business classes that I'm taking. So I have 4 different education things that I'm doing right now, plus the company. So all the work with that. And then there's the elements of mental health and taking care of my dog and taking care of my home. And, if I think about all the things that I have to do, I get overwhelmed. When I stop and think, like, how do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. And I say that all the time. And because what it reminds me of is the other things that I like to say, which is 1 breath at a time, 1 moment at a time, 1 step at a time. If you bring it back down into those little pieces, that helps to eliminate that overwhelm. You're only going to be able to do one thing in the moment, right? We can't do 1,000 different things at the same time. So why focus on the 1,000 different things that maybe we could potentially have to do? Just focus on this one thing that I can do at this moment, right? So the next card is going to be for Jody. And then I'm going to have to scroll. I think Abdul was the next one, I think. But if anyone else wants a card, let me know. And if you can keep giving me likes on TikTok so that it spreads that out a little bit further, that would be handy. Handy dandy. And if anyone that's watching on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube wants a card, just let me know. If it comes up Facebook user and I don't see what your name is, I'll just let you know that I need to see your name. I'm pretty sure like in about 8 minutes or 10 minutes or so, I'll get more people on the Facebook feeds, because then I'll be at the time that I typically am online. But we'll see how it goes. Okay, so Jody, let's channel your energy, Jody, so we get the card that's perfect for you. And again, so the card that I pulled is Peace, number 23, but I did pull it in the protection mode. So let's see what the message is from Peace. Okay. I think we can get a general idea of what Peace is going to tell us about. So Peace, freedom from attachment, radical acceptance. It's a huge one. There are so many times when we are just like, I don't like the truth. I don't like the situation that's here, right? And we cling to things and we hold on so tightly because we're afraid of letting go of that, because then there'll be nothing there. But it's the same thing. Like I tell everybody, if I'm holding on to something, I like this headset, so I have a headset. Well, if I don't like this headset and I want a new headset, I've got to let go of this, because I can't physically hold two headsets in my hands at the same time, right? And I usually do it with my coffee cup, but I forgot to make my coffee, so I'm like caffeine depleted. I'm just kidding. So the Oracle's message, it doesn't get any better than this: a quiet mind, a heart fulfilled, freedom from want, and the soul satisfaction. The way to peace is through radical acceptance. Everything in your world is exactly as it should be. Harmony is beautiful. Enjoy it. The protection message. Now is a time for calmness and well-being in spite of temporary conditions. Even if there are dissonant notes in the music of your life, all that means is that you must go within and fine-tune the extraordinary instrument that you are. Find harmony within yourself, and don't look to the outer world to provide certainty. This too shall pass, and once again, your life will be filled with beautiful music. So are you able to go internal? Sometimes when we have like a lot of stuff that's going on outside of us, like we have a lot of dysfunction, or we're dealing with a lot of like struggles within our personal lives or in our home lives, or, we're navigating through trauma or mental health issues, right? We're very out focused, like we're focused on all of the stuff that's going on out there, right? It's easy for us to get caught up in everything. We could be sitting here, you could be thinking about all the different things that are going on in the world that are, that we don't have any control over, right? And if we think about all the stuff that media is great at doing, two things: making us fearful and dividing us, right? So that's two goals. Why? Because a feared society and a divided society is easier to control and manipulate, right? So if we pull back and come back into ourselves and focus on what can we control? Well, the only thing that we can really control is ourselves and our reaction to things. And sometimes by pulling back and then giving ourselves those soothing, right? So if you have some soothing techniques in your toolkit, that's fantastic. Use those. Maybe meditate, do some really good self-care, listen internally to what you need, what would be very good for you to feel peace or calm, or to get yourself into that balanced state. So yeah, I think that, it's a good message for all of us, right? To pull back into ourselves and to try to just eliminate like what's going on around us. Because we tend to get it's the way that the news is, right? The way that the media is, the way that society is to really focus mostly on the negative. And when we focus on the negative, we get more negative. So you have to try to reframe things and think on the positive. And sometimes it's definite radical acceptance, right? Sometimes, you know, the end of a relationship, let's say we have to just radically accept that that relationship is over. But if it's not for you, why do you want to hold on to it? And I had to learn that very much, having that anxious attachment disorder, right? Oh, I'm going to throw that way far away. Okay, let's see this one here. I'm going to just check to make sure that I'm looking. Okay, Lisa, Jody, and then Abdul. Okay, so it is Abdul. All right, so this is your card pull. If anyone else wants a card pulled, just let me know and I'll pull your card and give you a 1-card reading. I do 5-card readings is the readings that I have that I offer for $45. So ooh, looks like the sun's going to come out today after all. Lovely. Look at that. Yes, you can, Maddie. I'll pull you a card right after. Yes. Yeah, a lot of us. I ran away from my trauma through education and work, and by burying myself in it, because then I didn't have to feel. I was successful. I was, you know, I thought life was good. I thought my trauma was really good. I thought I was healed because I was successful, right? But it wasn't. I just wasn't allowing myself the opportunity to shut off and actually become, you know, in tune with my body, in tune with my mind, or you know, balance it all. So this is for Abdul, and then we'll do Maddie afterwards. No, just that one. So Abdul, the card I pulled for you was number 19, flexible. And now number 19 would become a 1. So there is an element of beginnings whenever there's a 1. So 19, flexible, teachability, open-mindedness, being adaptable without compromising what is important. Right? Yeah, a lot of times we don't even recognize, right, that we have, you know, that we have gone through trauma. And you know, I think some of us don't even recognize that what we experienced was traumatic. Some of us know that we had trauma, but because, you know, we're fitting in society's little boxes that they have, we think we're not having any lasting issues from the trauma. And that's where I was at. I thought, well, because I got a good job, I worked, you know, like I had a relationship, I had kids, I did everything that society wanted, you know, so I was okay. must have resolved my trauma, right? But not realizing that that was definitely not the case, that I was living with a whole lot of unresolved trauma. Good morning and thanks. So for those that don't know, I'm also in a competition for Fab Over 40. And when I do the when I win, I'm going to just say when I win, I'm going to expect that everyone's voting for me every single day, so that when I win, I can give 4 scholarships to my trauma wellness program to help some people through their trauma. And I hope you have a wonderful call. Just remember, you've got this. You've got this. Just leap off the leap. Yeah. Well, you know what? Sometimes when we hold on so tightly to something that's not meant for us, as much as we want it to be for us, right? Like there's lots of times where we get in relationships and we're like, I really want this one to work out. I really want this to be for me. And, you know, maybe we've painted a picture of them being somebody that they're not. We have an expectation of who they are, but that's not really who they are. But when somebody's not for you and the relationship has ended, you can only control you and your reaction to the situation. When you hold on to it too tightly and you're not willing to let go what's not there for you, then you stop yourself from being open to allow other stuff to come in, right? If you let go of her because, you know, that relationships, you know, seems like it's been over for quite some time, she may even be the person that is meant for you to come back at another time, but she's going to come back when you let go of the control of that situation. But let's see what the rest of the card says. A tree's roots are solidly planted in the ground, yet its branches can bend in a hurricane. whereas a rigid structure, like a building, would come crashing down. Consider how the tree remains supple and secure when everything around it may be in shambles. This is how you need to be right now, willing to learn new things, teachable, malleable, yet firmly grounded in who you are. Common sense is important, but so is an open mind. Stay curious, stay open, stay aware. At this time, others will be more flexible with you too. In every relationship, it's important to be open to new experiences and learning new things. Letting go of rigidity is what's required right now. You don't always have to be right all the time, do you? What's required, or sorry, it's okay to come to a happy compromise. You can still get your needs met. It's a beautiful day when you meet halfway. The appearance of this card in a reading could also signal that you have met someone new who may not be your type, but who will turn out to be so special that you can easily release your old ideas about what sort of partner is right for you. Have you met someone new in your life? Has someone come in that you don't even really even give a look to because you're like, that just doesn't, right? I've been in that situation before, right? The person who is in my life is actually younger than me, and if I had have met that person in a different way and found, I might have been hesitant. I would have looked away because I would have looked at age and been like, that's not right. But because I'm allowing myself to just be open, and I met them differently, then, they've showed up in a spectacular way that is really beautiful. So sometimes allowing people who don't necessarily meet what your mind thinks is the right person for you, or they're a little bit different. If you just allow yourself to open up, then you might find out that they actually are the best person, that they're going to support you or love you, or they're going to show up in ways that are just magical. And radically accept the fact that sometimes redirection is just God's protection, right? You could be in that relationship with that other person, like making amends and doing everything you can and begging and pleading and please, please, please come back. And then they come back and, but they're not there. Sorry, I don't allow people to join me on my lives unless it's been discussed. And because I need to vet you. I talk about some pretty difficult conversation topics, and I did one time let someone join me, and they thought it was just hilarious to make a joke about like the trauma stuff that I was talking about. So I do not let people join me without being vetted first. So be flexible and remind yourself, this or something better manifests for me now. Then be willing to bend a little bit and enjoy the miraculous results. Okay, so be open and flexible, exactly. And just be aware that sometimes the things that show up for us show up in a different way than what we're expecting, but that can be beautiful in and of itself. So Maddie is next for a card. And if anyone else wants a card, just let me know. Okay. Just let me know. But first, Maddie. Maddie, I pulled Breathe, number 29, which would be 11. 11's a master number. I did pull it in protection state, so I will read what the essential meaning is, the oracle message, and then the protection message for you. Okay. So the essential meaning: patience, waiting, going slowly, wellness, meditation, trust. The oracle's message: patience in all things is called for right now. What do you need to do when you're in a rush? Slow down, of course. Meditate and trust. Breathe and repeat. Humans cannot exist without drawing breath. Now is the time to allow the life-giving element of air to replenish your body, your being, and your very essence. Stop to smell the roses, breathe in the sunlight, and release the darkness, and miracles will occur. Prosperity message: You have worked long, oh, sorry, not that one. Sorry, protection message, the other P one. So the protection message. Inertia, laziness, and apathy are signs not of slowing down, but of decay and lifelessness. Wake up and do something to shake this off. Go outside for some air. Walk in nature. A walk in nature will remind you that all life is ensouled and magical. Get some exercise, move out of your head and into your body, and breathe in deeply. Each breath is precious. So have you been kind of feeling like really shut down and really in a stagnant state of energy? Because if that's the case, Maddie, then that's what the card's saying is there's other ways that we can get in connection with ourselves, right? And meditation's a really great thing to do, but there's also, being out in nature and just experiencing the way that nature is and shows up and how beautiful it is. Yeah. So yeah, maybe try turn some music on, dance around your house, right? Put on that, like and if you're in a space where, like you have roommates and things like that, go in your bedroom, shut the door, turn the music on, nobody's watching you, nobody cares, and just dance and enjoy yourself. Or go out in nature and pick a color that you want to look for and make it more of a meditative experience. Or pick a shape or something, or you want to see a specific, like you want to see what animals you can find, or, you're looking for something new, because that keeps you in that moment as you're walking. So it's a really good idea. So if anyone else wants a card, let me know. And if not, then I'm probably going to jump off a little bit earlier today, because like I said, on Saturdays for the next little bit, I am going to have to go on earlier. But Sunday, every other day I'll be on at 9 Eastern. Like I said, unless there's some kind of conflict between other stuff that I have to do education wise, because like I said, I do like my education. So if anyone else wants a card, just let me know. And otherwise, like I said, I will hop off for today, but I really, really greatly appreciate everyone that did show up today. Yeah, I very much appreciate it. And I appreciate all the likes that you gave me on TikTok, getting my reach out there so more people can see me. And yeah. Chantal. Yes, I will give you a card, Chantal. I love it. Woohoo. Throwing them. I don't pick up the dropped card as the card. I actually feel the energy. When I'm doing the card pulls, the reason why I like the name is because while I'm shuffling the cards, I'm asking Spirit what the message is for Chantal. And other times I would ask, like, on whatever the other names are, I would be saying like their name, and then so I channel the energy of you to get the card. And yes, I'll pull one for you as well, Sheena. First, Chantal. And then I fan the cards out until, and sometimes a card just like it actually is just like this one. That's the card. Sometimes I have to like spread them out a little bit to find the card because it's, obviously hidden. And I just get more of an energy within it. When I go to pull it, I just feel that's just the card, right? I'll get this like condensed feeling of energy. So the card that I pulled for you, Chantal, is Imagine, number 20. So let's look at the message from Imagine. So turning imagination into manifestation, creative thought, visualization, the power of aligning imagery and feelings, creativity, illusions. Who do you want to be? What do you need to believe in order to have the life you want? You were gifted with the power to imagine. If you can dream it, you can create it. Bob Proctor always said, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand, right? And we all are creators. Everything that someone imagined, that's everything. Everything that's out here is all stuff that people imagine. Someone imagined a mouse like that. Someone imagined, a bracelet like that. Someone imagined a book like this, right? Someone imagined oracle cards like that. They imagined it in their minds and they made it real. So, this is the time when your imagination is the key to manifesting the life you desire. Spend time daydreaming, fashioning a vision board to help you see your goals, or meditating. Allow the power of your creativity to deliver images of what feeds your soul. Then allow your feelings to mingle with your inspirations and imagine these things will being real right now, then repeat. What you imagine will become your belief, and soon you will see these things come to pass in the outer world as if by magic. Relationship message. In matters of the heart, it's easy to daydream about another as a means of connection to that person. While that's romantic, if you want this relationship to be real, you need to go for it, not just dream about it, right? We have to have action. When we sit and think about things, it's great. That keeps it in like the cosmic realm, right? But in order for us to have it real, we have to actually do something, right? I used to always say this joke, everybody, like you want to have a great relationship. Well, if you're isolated in the middle of nowhere, what do you think? They're going to just drop him through your house, like through your chimney, like a Christmas tree? Or sorry, like Santa. Like you have to actually go out of your house. Like you'd have to go and actually interact or make action to have that, right? Same thing with everything else. We have to actually do something to bring the stuff into reality, not just thinking about it. But I do have another thing for that. If the image that you're holding about yourself in your mind is distorted, and a lot of us have a distorted image, right? We see ourselves as, maybe lazy, or we see ourselves as unsuccessful, or we see ourselves as fat or ugly or whatever. Like we hold these really negative because people have made us feel that way about ourselves. So we inherently have changed that image to relate to what other people have made us feel or think, right? So if you do have a bad image of yourself in your mind, you want to change that image. You want to figure out how do you want to show up in life? What do you look like in the future, in your best future? How would you look? How would you appear? How would you show up day to day? And craft that image in your mind and then hold nothing but it. Trash all those other images that you hold and just have that in your mind, because then you'll make steps towards becoming that particular version of yourself, as opposed to trying to make steps to be that person, but holding that other image, which keeps pulling you back because you just keep self-sabotaging to make that image be the correct image or like in reality. So now is the time to move beyond the daydream and into reality, beyond illusion and into fruition. Relationships are about relating, so step out onto the dance floor where imagination partners with manifestation. The message of this card is that a person with attributes you have imagined will enter your life. You will be changed for the better. Imagine that. For the prosperity message, this is a powerful time to get clear on how you create your prosperity, what it means to you to be prosperous, and what attributes you need to develop in yourself to make things happen. Who do you need to be to live out your dreams? Can you imagine the kind of life you desire? Really imagine it without holding back the sheer force of your powers of creativity. If you can envision it, you can have it. Get ready, for prosperity is waiting for you to claim it now. Act as if your dreams really will come true, right? Like when we really believe that they're going to come true, they will. Vision boards are really great. I would really strongly suggest like doing a vision board, and I'll pull a card for you now, Sheena. And if anyone else wants a card, I think I'll go to 9:30 and then I'll hop off at 9:30. Okay, so I have time for a few more cards if anyone would like, but we'll start with Sheena. And you can let me know how that went, Chantel. Thank you. If that resonated with you, do you feel that that card resonated with you, Chantel? Woo-hoo-hoo. Throwing them all over the place. Jeez. All right, I'm going to shuffle. They're telling me it's time to stop shuffling is what I fear. And they're really trying. There's a message for you for sure, Sheena, because these cards are just hopping to get out here and give you a message. I do oracle readings. They're 45 Canadian, and I do a 5-card pull that includes your spirit animal. Oh, nice. That's beautiful. I love vision boards. So the card that I pulled for you, Sheena, is exchanging gifts, number 27, I think, if I'm reading that correctly, number 27. Okay. So let's see what exchanging gifts number 27 is. So the essential meanings, the law of giving and receiving, currency, trade-offs, weighing costs, and determining value. The Oracle's message. You are entering into a productive and enriching time when all manner of opportunities are being offered to you. You have everything you need to seize them. Yet, in order to honor them, you must put in the time, exchange your experience and skills, and commit heart and soul to what you're choosing to pursue. You can do it. You have what it takes to be successful if you align with the law of giving and receiving. You must engage in a dance of give and take, push and pull, doing and being. If you let fear guide your choices, you could deplete yourself or create an imbalance. This is not just a time of do. Use your currency wisely and be mindful of the value others bring to your life. I say this all the time. We are human beings, not doings. You don't have to be doing something all the time to have value or worth. You just have to be. And the moment that you breathed or like took a breath as a baby, you were worthy. And I say the way that I can prove that is if someone came to you with a brand new baby and said, what do you give me so that I save this life? Everybody would give everything to save that life, and they've done nothing. And they're just dependent on you. They need everything to survive from you. But nobody would cast the baby aside because that baby has worth just because it is, right? And so do you. You are a human being, not doing. So, and sometimes when we sit back into that restful state, things come to us, right? When we're always in that go, sometimes it stunts our creativity. Like it actually shuts down our ability to get into that pattern of flow. So just remember that sometimes there's power in stillness, right? And that's how we can receive. So love is, for the relationship message, love is an exchange of life force energy between two beings. It grows exponentially when it's reciprocated. You must give and receive in order for love to flourish and abundance to flow between you. Spirit wants you to start accepting all the blessings waiting for you, as well as offer the same gift in return. Open your heart and allow it to be filled. Let love in and let it flow out of you too. Love is truly yours today. And with relationship messages, that could be partnerships as well. It's not just your intimate like love relationship. It could be, partnerships. It could be relationships with family or friends. So you can look at other relationships within that message. But there should be that even give and take, right? But a lot of times we get into scenarios where one person's a real giver and the other one's a taker, and they just take, and we just give because we think that that's who I'm a giver, you're a taker, it's a balance, whatever. But there has to be that give and take between the two. Right? You can't always be the giver and them always the taker. There has to be balance. For the prosperity message, all your hard work and efforts, your commitment to learning, creating, and spending your time wisely pay off in ways you may not have been anticipating. The gifts of yourself, your time, your ideas, and the energy of your intentions are being reciprocated by the universe, which is sending you signs and signals, aligning synchronistic meetings and opportunities to bring you success and more. Everything is an exchange. Keep doing what you're doing. Goodwill comes back tenfold. So I hope that was a really, really good message. I hope that you enjoyed that one, Sheena. And if anyone else wants a card, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to hop off and make a drink or a coffee. A drink, yes, a coffee. It's pretty much my drinks are water and then bean-filled water. Tea is the other thing. So water and tea and coffee. I don't really drink pop, and I don't particularly drink alcohol either. I don't feel good when I drink it at all. So yeah, hi, Tom, how are you? Would you like a card pulled this morning, love? I will pull a card for you. I see on YouTube, or at least that's what it seems like as she showed up on YouTube. My dog just did a big, huge stretch on the couch. He's lying completely on his back. So all I saw was legs just pop up over the back of the couch as he stretched out. No problem. Yeah. And sometimes, like we have to be careful because we actually we determine how we're going to allow people to treat us by what we allow, right? So if I allow somebody to disrespect my boundaries, then I'm telling them that it's okay for them to to disrespect my boundaries, right? If I set us up into be give, and I allow them to be take, I'm still allowing that because I can at any point say this does not work for me. And one of the things that came out of my healing was a definite firm boundaries. And I think that, I give a lot of credit to the guy that, is with me right now because I haven't made it easy for him. It's been very much these are my boundaries and you are going to honor them. And I've been, like a little bit standoffish at times. Oh, yes, you should. Good morning, Melissa. How are you? You are definitely worthy. You are so incredibly worthy. I bet you have a ton of things that you bring to the table that you don't even realize, right? Because we never see ourselves the way that other people see us. We see ourselves in the light, in the shadows, in our own mind, right? We don't see ourselves as the person that other people see, right? I don't know how people, like somebody sees me. They can tell me that they see me in a certain way, but I don't really know how people, like how I come across to other people. So Tom, let's get your card. And then if anyone else wants a card, let me know. Like I said, I'll go. I do feel like it's that one. So Tom, the card that I pulled for you is All That Glitters, number 16. And I pulled it in protection state. So let's see what All That Glitters is. And I know what this card is. When you see this card and you see All That Glitters, you might think treasure, but that's not what this card is going to tell us about. This card has a message for us that's a little deeper than that. So All That Glitters. When I pull it in protection mode, I always read the essential meanings and then I read the oracle's message, which would be the message of the actual inherent message of the card. And then I tell you what the protection messages. So the essential meanings: a need to see beyond the superficial, the desire to don a mask or dress something up to disguise its true nature, trying to be something you're not, chasing after every sparkly new thing, being mercurial. The oracle's message: it's only human to want to adorn oneself in trinkets and paint a pretty picture of oneself. It's natural to want to acquire the trappings of status or to deny them as a statement of rebellion. But if it sparkles, is it better? Whether it's a fast car, a big house, a title or position, the stamp of authority, or the sparkling of diamonds, these icons let you know something about a person, place, or thing. Or do they? The truth is that people seek to acquire things because of what they will do for them and how they symbolically will elevate them and make them more attractive. This card signals that it's time to see beyond the adornments and probe underneath the surface. Learn to recognize the masks people wear and the motives underlying them. Imagine that all the glitter is gone. Would you still desire the object or person? The protection message. This is a signal to walk away from what you're contemplating. There is a thin veneer of glitter and sparkle that masks something rotten underneath. Pursuing it will only bring about a difficult situation you will be sorry you got yourself into. Stay away. Isn't it wonderful how spirit protects you? Better things await. So that whole God's direct or read, how does it go? God's redirection. There we go. Redirection is God's protection, right? We get redirected away from things. They might seem in appearance that they're really good for us, but it could be, that new relationship that looks really sparkly and shiny and like it's hitting all the right notes, but they're really just wearing a complete and utter mask and showing up as somebody that they're not. Underneath there may be a lot of toxicity or a lot of unhealthiness, or they're just, not the person that aligns with you at all. And if you stay the course, it's one of those things too, you get all those flags that pop up. right? We know within 2 years whether or not the relationship is really a good relationship or not, whether it aligns with us or it doesn't, whether we connect really well, whether we start to do those, well, if only, if they did this, well, if they could do that, if we could change this way, you know, if they weren't so, well, I love everything about them except for da 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 da, right? When we start making up our lists of how they don't match or don't measure up to our expectations. And we know, like, we've seen those flags, right? It's like, well, there's a flag. They didn't respect that boundary of mine. And it's like, oh, we'll just let it go. And then another flag comes up and you're like, we'll just let that go too. Next thing you know, you're 8 years in and you got 1,000 flags sticking around you. And you're like, I saw the flags. I did. I saw them early on, but I held on anyway, right? I held on. And, you know, you don't get any points for holding on to something that's not for you. You just get years of being with somebody that wasn't for you, which stopped you from being able to be with the person that was, right? There's many times that those knocks come on our door early on to tell us this isn't for us. We need to move on, or we need to do these other things, but we choose not to, right? We disregard the messages that come up for us. So that's that. Well, if nobody else has asked for any cards, and it doesn't seem like there has been, I'm going to hop off. I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee, and then I'm going to join my education session. Yes, we do. And exactly. Lots of times it's the reason why it takes so long is because green flag. Yes, absolutely. But yeah, we do. We want to just keep looking at that. Thank you. And you enjoy too. Have a wonderful day, Tom. We do. We look at we spend that time, right? We see those flags and we don't, but we learn those lessons. They teach us who we really are, right? What we're willing to stand up for. And sometimes I can pull a card for you, Melissa, definitely, before I go. We have, you know, we stick it out and we stick it out and we stick it out. And, you know, but those are those lessons to learn. Well, what are my boundaries? What am I willing to put up with? How much garbage am I willing to take? Because if I'm not willing to, you know, or what boundaries do I need to put in? And it's just that amount of pain, right? And unfortunately, we can't save people from their struggling or from their pain, because it's in the struggle and the pain that they're going to determine that they're willing to put in the work to get out. I was also on earlier too, because I have education on Saturdays for the next couple of weeks. So because of that education, I unfortunately need to get off a little sooner. So I'm not going to do a 9 until 10. I was doing an 8:30 until 9:30, but then next week I'll try to do like an 8 o'clock. So yeah, let's see what our card is, Melissa. Let's see. Oh, stop throwing cards. We don't take the thrown cards. We pick the card. We intuitively pick the card. I'd like to look at them sometimes, though, because if they keep giving me the same card, then we know that there's maybe a message that is really trying to get out. But let's see what card we have for Melissa. Oh, this card is a tough card. This card is always a tough card. Not for you, number 6. And you can see the hand underneath is like the higher power, and it's holding this chessboard, and it's got the little fortune cookie, which just has the nope. And it's a clear message. This card is one of those like very clear messages that something in your life is not for you. So this really is a redirection, is God's protection message. And I just read that as well. So a clear knowing that something is being denied for you. Rejection is God's protection. There are times when it appears no matter how deeply you desire something, no matter how hard you work at something, the result you seek always seems to elude you. It's as if you don't really get to be in the game and you feel you're just watching from the sidelines. The appearance of this card indicates that you are not going to attain what you want right now, that indeed your dreams for that exact thing will not be fulfilled. This is a time to radically accept that not everything is available to you when you want it. Take heart, for there are benevolent forces who desire the best for you and have a much clearer idea of what is your highest good. Rejection is God's protection. Something much better that will make you truly happy is on its way. Trust this. And I can, when we look at jobs, right? I remember I was working as a nursing care coordinator in a nursing home, and I loved the role. I loved the job that I was in. I loved it. But they hired another nursing care coordinator that I had to train and orientate. And when she came on board, she went to them and told them that I did these things, and I hadn't. And I went to defend myself or whatever, but they decided to just believe her anyway, and I was fired. And it was such a harsh thing for me to take because, well, I'm not an employee that gets fired. I'm a good employee. And also the fact that they believed somebody in what she was saying that wasn't true. And I was just like, oh my God, this is horrible. But I ended up, from that job, I ended up going and getting another job. And this job, it was a much bigger job, a much better job. I had that role for, 5 years at least before I moved on from that. So sometimes it seems harsh in the beginning, and it can be really painful to acknowledge that whatever it is that is not for you and to let it go. But sometimes like what comes in afterwards is usually so much more fulfilling, so much more beneficial, and I had other friends that worked in that position, in that company, that ended up having the same thing where they ended up like getting terminated for reasons, or they couldn't handle the toxicity of the workplace, so they left. And they really came into that whole understanding of that environment. It was harsh. It was harsh, the exit, always in hurting, but where we ended up after we left that place, because there were 3 of us and we stayed friends afterwards, we all ended up in wonderful positions. So that redirection can sometimes feel harsh, but end up with really wonderful results at the end of it. So some relationships carry an innate seed of failure in them that is obvious from the beginning, but the red flags escape your observation or you refuse to acknowledge them. We talked about that already today. When a relationship is not meant to be, it is not possible to make it be. Rejection is a sign that you're being protected by the divine. If you are the one who must reject another, remember that you do so for both your sakes. For every pot, there is a lid. This one may not be the best fit, right? And we try to force people to fit with us, or we try to force ourselves to fit with other people. Like we live small, right? If you're around somebody and say, I've seen a relationship where the girl was super, super chatty, like very friendly, very outgoing nature. And she would be walking down the road with her dog, and she would see somebody and she would be like, hey, how's it going? And they would get chatting, and her partner would just be like, oh my God, like I just want to go for a walk. I just want to walk. I want to walk the dog. I want to do the walk. I want to spend my time with you. I want to get back and be done with it. But the girl was just that very chatty person of, let's enjoy myself. I'm going to interact with people that I see. I'm going to talk about their dogs. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to have these wonderful interactions with these strangers in the world. So that's just a disconnect between the two people that they were. So, if the male could say, I'm going to be okay with that showing up as her, then that would have been okay. But he really wasn't. So what she did was she just stopped doing that. She started to just shrink inside of herself. And she's like, well, I'm not really going to have those conversations with people that I see in the streets. I'm not going to interact with them and their dogs because I don't want him to be frustrated. So she started to change who she was, right? So that's where we do those little tweaks and changes. But over time, you can get really far away from who you are naturally, just to hopefully keep that relationship alive. And that's what it's talking about there, is like sometimes we disregard it and we do all these little changes and stuff. And in the end, like we end up losing ourselves, right? So letting them go helps them too, because then they can go find somebody that just wants to go on a walk and walk a dog and not have any conversations. And she can go and find somebody that's going to love that about her, because maybe they're that type of person too. That's like, I love talking to people. I don't know what I'm going to end up seeing, right? Just being true to ourselves. And we do that in the beginning of relationships. And I don't understand why people do that. And I probably did it myself before, but like it's like that, you meet somebody that's into physical fitness and they're like, yeah, I go to the gym and I lift and I work out and I'm like really, really big on my physical fitness. And, like this is something that's really big to me. And you're like, yeah, I work out too. I work out like all the time. And then, but you don't, right? Or, they're like, I like the UFC. I like watching wrestling, or I like watching, racing, or I like doing all of these things. And you're like, me too. I love it too. And meanwhile, you really don't, right? And people do that all the time. Like, oh, I'm a very open, mature, in touch with my feelings. And, like I don't yell, or, like I do these things. And then you're in the relationship and that dynamic is not true, right? Because people just want to be in a relationship so much a lot of the time that they're willing to pretend to be whatever. And they just have that hard time of standing up and saying, this is who I am. I'm authentically this person. And if you don't align with me, that's okay. You don't align with me. Right. So you can, and in prosperity messages, so work, career in that area, if that's where the question is that you're really having, you can strategize and project and systemize and invest all your time and energy. But sometimes your best laid plans seem to go awry in spite of it all. Keep in mind that no effort is wasted. Fail fast and learn from defeat. Then keep going. You will eventually succeed, although perhaps not at this time, not at this game, not at this time. Know when to fold your cards. So, and it's, yes, longtime friends are very important, right? And it's just recognizing that just being true to yourself and being authentic, right? Fail fast. Yeah. Right. The faster that we fail, the faster that we learn that lesson from it, the faster that we can move on and get in alignment with what is truly meant for us. Instead of just taking the scraps that we're usually willing to just accept, right? We accept those little scrap pieces in our life because a little bit's better than nothing, rather than saying, I'd rather have nothing and just be true to me. And then what ends up aligning with me will be magical. It really will be magical. So I hope that you enjoyed that reading, but I am going to hop off because, like I said, I have education scheduled that started at 9, so I'm like 38 minutes late for it. So I'm going to jump off and do that, but I will be back on at 9 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow, where I will do a collective reading, and then I will also do individual card pulls for anyone that wants it. And I love you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And I hope some of those messages resonated for you, even if they weren't for you. But I will see you later. So have a great day, guys. Get this one up here.